election night in America, one of the most consequential elections in recent history.
Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky.
Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Missouri will go to Donald Trump.
It's clear now that Donald Trump has picked up key support among Hispanic voters, despite all the things that he said.
Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
That the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump.
The evening was getting increasingly somber as people realized what this map is looking like.
CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Kamala Harris is not winning.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight?
News Decision Desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
Do you really think that the Democratic Party is fighting for you? The overwhelming answer is no.
What's happening, guys? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Right, so as you know by now, Trump won the election and he's going to be in office as of January. Now, we've got very interesting times ahead of us and I think we should hold on to our seatbelts because it's going to be a wild ride. But what I want to talk about today, I want to get into why I think Kamala Harris lost, or at least one small reason why she lost, and that is the lack of support from the black community and specifically black men. So let's get into it, I guess. So why has Kamala struggled to gain traction amongst black voters? Many factors are at play, including concerns about her policy record, her identity shifts, the Democratic Party's economic priorities, and broader anxieties around immigration. Let's dive into the reasons behind this hesitation, uncovering why some black men feel disconnected from the Biden-Harris administration. First, we need to talk about her prosecutorial record. First, let's talk about Kamala Harris's background as a prosecutor, a major sticking point for black male voters. Harris has faced criticism over policies she enforced as a prosecutor in California, which some argue contributed to mass incarcerations that disproportionately affected black men. Her tough on crime stance, once seen as a strength, is now viewed as a liability within the black community. In her early career, Harris promoted strict policies like enforcing truancy laws that penalized parents, disproportionately impacting black communities. Though she later emphasized reform, for many black men, these past decisions left a lasting impression and mistrust. This perception isn't easy to shake, particularly for voters who prioritise criminal justice reform and feel a personal connection to these issues. Another reason why people didn't vote for Harris is because she's fake. Yeah, let's face it, she's fake. It's another layer to this whole story, the question of authenticity, but some black voters, particularly men, feel Harris's stance on racial identity has shifted over time. It's a bit wishy-washy. She's a bit of a chameleon, it seems. Harris has a mixed heritage background. Father's from Jamaica and her mother's Indian. Before her national political rise, she was often seen as a politician of a ethnic background. But even that I'd say is too far, because she was actually seen as an Indian American. That's how she was sworn in when she became a senator or whatever it was. That's when she got into politics. She was, not coronated, but when she was sworn in as like the first Indian American in California or whatever it was.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too.
Anyway, I've gone a little bit off script there, and now I'm just ranting. But anyway, yeah. Father's Jamaican, mother's Indian. However, during her vice presidential campaign, she leaned more heavily into her black identity, a shift that some view as with skepticism, maybe in one of them. I don't think you can go from being Indian and always saying that you're Indian and only acknowledging your Indian side. And then when it became convenient for you, all of a sudden you wanted to be known as a black woman and potentially the first black president. I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. No amount of endorsements from Beyonce and Cardi B and Kelly Rowland and Jay-Z and whoever else jumped on the Harris bandwagon. There's no amount of blackwashing is going to get that fake smell off you. We know our own. You're not it. This change was noticed by some voters who feel it signals a selective emphasis on race, something leaned into when it served her politically. While some view this as a natural evolution, others feel it's an inconsistency, leading to doubts about whether Harris can genuinely represent and advocate for the unique struggles faced by black Americans. But there's more at play. Another key factor is the perception of displacement within the American political landscape. For some black American men, especially in economically marginalized communities, there's a sense of becoming a minority within a minority. As immigration rates increase, black Americans are no longer the largest minority, which can add to a sense of economic competition and cultural dilution. Some black men argue that the Democratic policies, including those advocated by Harris, may prioritise immigrant groups at the expense of other black workers. This isn't just about jobs, but it's also a perceived shift in focus. They worry whilst new immigrant communities gain attention, the historic and ongoing struggles of black Americans may be sidelined. It's not even a maybe, they will be sidelined in the interests of others. This economic anxiety compounds existing frustrations, especially in lower wage sectors where competition can be fierce. Then there's the bigger picture. Many black men feel disillusioned with the Democratic Party overall. For instance, for decades, black voters, particularly black women, have been a reliable base for the Democratic Party, but some black men question what they're actually gaining in return for their votes. They argue that the Democrats often make promises on economic uplift and social equality, but there's no tangible benefits that materialise out of these promises. For instance, many black men work in sectors heavily affected by economic stagnation. They work in jobs that are susceptible to automation and outsourcing. While the Biden-Harris administration has made strides in infrastructure and pandemic relief, some feel these policies have not directly benefited black communities, saying the Democrats' policies seem tailored more towards immigrants and other marginalised groups than for black Americans specifically. These factors converge to create a sense of political marginalisation amongst some black men. While representation matters, many argue it's not enough on its own. They want candidates who not only understand but act on the specific challenges black men face. Things like higher incarceration rates, lower wages, and a lack of tailored economic support. In the past, figures like Barack Obama resonated strongly with black communities because he was seen as someone who could deliver meaningful change. But in Harris, some black male voters see more of a continuation of the status quo, someone aligned with the Democratic Party's establishment rather than someone who's bringing radical solutions to the problems of the black community. So, what would it take for Kamala Harris or any Democratic candidate to regain trust amongst black men? According to many political analysts, the answer lies in consistent, clear policy commitments that specifically address economic inequality and criminal justice reform within the black community. It also means that creating opportunities for dialogue and showing a willingness to listen to these concerns directly. Actions will need to go beyond campaign promises. Black men want to see economic policies that directly impact them, reforms in criminal justice that address systemic biases, and acknowledgement of their concerns about displacement and representation. Only through meaningful, targeted policy shifts can the Democratic Party bridge the relationship between black male voters and the Democratic Party is complicated, nuanced, and evolving. Kamala Harris, as a symbol and as a policymaker, finds herself at the intersection of this dynamic. Winning back the support of these communities will require a shift, one that prioritises authentic engagement, listening to the specific challenges that black men face, and making genuine, long-lasting commitment to their well-being. And that's pretty much it. That's my opinion. I hope you like the new format I'm trying. I did write out scripts for this, and I've tried to stick to it as much as I can to kind of keep my ideas focused and on point, rather than having a video where I'm just rambling for like 10-15 minutes and then just So I'm just trying to basically make this a little bit more of a focused video, I suppose, and also just trying new things with the channel. Basically, just trying to see what feels right, what I want to get rid of. I don't know. I'm just doing things. And if you like it, I hope you did. Please give a like to the video, subscribe, and add a comment. If you've got any ideas of any topics that you'd like me to discuss or cover, please let me know in the comment section below. And once again, I truly hope you like this video. Please leave a like, comment, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.